Non-mainstream multiplayer games all have the same cycle. First, they find a game that's really popular and make something similar to it. In this case, it was Starcraft 2. Then they make some tweaks to the formula to make it similar to another popular game in the genre. In this case, Command & Conquer. Then the game launches and has network problems, and then the game loses its population, and then it's just a single-player game. So I can talk about the multiplayer, but honestly, by the time you start playing it, it just won't exist. In the case of this game, it was region locked. On Steam, there are 120 different regions to split among. You can change your region and hopefully pick the one that has most players on it, but it ends up being a lot of cat and mouse. The population after a day dropped from 3,000 players to 1,000 players, and after a week they dropped under 800 players, and every day it continues to drop. So it's a single-player RTS game. Grey Goo is a potential end-of-world scenario in which nanorobots have taken over the world. Grey Goo is very similar to Starcraft in some ways, but has enough differences that one might consider taking on both. There are 3 different factions in Grey Goo. The Beta are a group of aliens who would be humans, if not for these creepy little useless hands. They play like the Terrans in Starcraft 2 in every single possible way. They have defensive structures that can be mounted, they have siege-oriented units, they use machine guns, and similar to Earth-era weaponry, and are the only faction that can actually build anywhere. The human faction in Starcraft 2 is similar to Protoss. The humans don't fight themselves. They send in robots and drones to do it for them. All materials are more or less transported in to build the robot army. Their units tend to be more specific to purposes. Then there are the Goo, who are the really only distinct faction in the game. The Goo start off as a giant mother Goo who can split off into different sorts of goo. That goo can transform into one of 4 units with either 8 possible combinations total. The mother goo will regenerate health after splitting off into the other form and continue to produce units in this manner. The mother goo can also split off into another mother goo to further increase your production. When units fall within the goo, they will take damage, and each goo type has its own effects on units. The game features a 15-mission campaign, giving 5 missions to each faction. It's an opportunity to learn the game while advancing a light story. I call it a light story because it only features a single event, similar to Dawn of War, rather than an overarching political story like Starcraft. Most of the characters in the game lack character and are easily interchangeable. This, in ways, is similar to the classic Starcraft Zerg campaign, in which you easily forget everyone's names. Except for Zaz, who was a dick. All of this will prepare you for the multiplayer, or lack of multiplayer. The campaign on hard difficulty represents a grand total of 10 hours of gameplay. There are no challenges, and after this game, the only use for it will be skirmishes with AI. Unfortunately, this game didn't go through a real, authentic beta test, and it shows. There is no world in which this game will ever be worth $50.